In the Nickyverse, loyalty is pretty much everything. And that's exactly why the end of Season 27 didn't just shock people, it completely blew up the foundation of the entire story. So today, we are going to unpack that absolutely devastating betrayal and figure out how we all missed the signs.
I mean, it's the one question that has dominated every single fan chat since the credits rolled, right? How did this happen? How did Nicky's closest confidant, the person they trusted most, turn out to be the mastermind behind their downfall? Well, we're going to follow the clues, connect the dots, and unpack this whole thing step by painful step.
Okay, so to really understand just how deep this deception runs, we have to start at the very end, with those final, jaw-dropping moments of the betrayal itself.
I was never on your side. I was on the side of history. Just let that sink in. That one line hits like a ton of bricks. In just 10 words, everything we thought we knew about their loyalty, their friendship, all of it, was just gone. This wasn't some sudden turn. This was the truth, and it had been hiding in plain sight the entire time.
But hang on, before we go full detective mode and start looking for clues, let's quickly set the stage. Because to really get the sheer scale of this betrayal, you need to understand the universe it almost tore apart.
So, at the beginning of Season 27, the whole universe was balanced on a knife's edge, split between two huge powers. On one side, you've got the Coalition, super rigid, authoritarian, totally convinced that strict top-down control is the only way to get lasting peace. And on the other side, we have the Free Worlds, led by Nicky, of course. They're a chaotic but, really passionate alliance that's all about independence. This massive clash of ideas was basically a tinderbox just waiting for a spark.
And here's the crazy part. Once the shock started to wear off, fans started going back, and they realized the signs were there all along. The writers basically left us a trail of breadcrumbs, clues that pointed right to the truth. Remember this line? It was delivered pretty early in the season, right in the middle of a crisis. At the time, we all heard it as a statement of fierce loyalty, like a promise to protect Nicky by being one step ahead of their enemies. But looking back on it now, it was a confession. They weren't just watching the enemy's moves on the board, they were watching every single move, and that included Nicky's. This wasn't a promise of protection at all. It was a quiet little boast about being smarter than everyone else, a huge clue that they were playing a totally different game. And the clues go way beyond just a few lines of dialogue. Think about the biggest disasters for the Free Worlds this season. You had the solar flare incident, where key defenses just mysteriously failed. The data heist, where vital intel somehow got leaked straight to the Coalition. And that failed negotiation, which fell apart over a tiny detail only a handful of people knew about. What was the one constant? Our traitor was right there, in a key advisory role for every single one. That is not a coincidence, that is a pattern of sabotage.
And if you look even closer, these weren't just random acts of treachery. No, this was a methodical four-step plan. First, you sow discord, subtly questioning Nicky's big decisions. Second, you isolate Nicky from their allies, making them totally dependent on you. Third, you steal the intel you need to cripple their entire operation. And finally, the endgame. You seize power in the chaos that follows. It was cold, it was calculated, and it was devastatingly effective.
So all of this, the cryptic warnings, the pattern of failure, the strategic plan, it all leads us to one final, unavoidable truth about Season 27.
Yeah. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment thing. It wasn't a last-minute change of heart or some seduction by the enemy. The betrayal was a meticulously orchestrated plan, probably in motion since before the season even kicked off. Every single action, every piece of advice was a calculated step toward this one final moment.
But why? Why go through all of that? The motivation here is deeper than just a simple lust for power. We've learned there were some huge ideological differences. The traitors saw Nicky's passion for freedom not as a good thing, but as a direct path to endless chaos and war. Then you have the secret family connection to the Coalition, which just adds this whole tragic personal layer to it. But ultimately, it all came from this core belief that their brutal, orderly way was the only path that could save the universe from itself.
So, with the truth finally out and the universe in complete turmoil, the massive question on everybody's mind is, where in the world does the Nickyverse go from here?
Of course, there's a really popular fan theory out there that suggests this isn't the whole story. What if the entire betrayal is actually a giant misdirection? A triple cross, designed to smoke out an even bigger, hidden enemy by making the Free Worlds look weak? If that's true, it reframes absolutely everything. It would mean the traitor isn't a villain,
but maybe the ultimate martyr, willing to sacrifice their own name for the greater good. Could this act of treachery actually be the most extreme act of loyalty we can imagine?
And that leaves us right here, with the ultimate question hanging over the next season. With trust completely shattered and a new power player lurking in the shadows, is there any way back from this? Is redemption even on the table after a betrayal this deep, or is the universe now locked on a collision course for an inevitable all-out war? I guess we'll just have to wait and see.